Hello. I finally got my mic to work, I think. Uh, yeah. And I thought today, maybe since the only thing I have up is a, brief introduction and a silent video of me playing Hollow Knight, that maybe we could do something that might inspire some, how should I put it? Thought or exploration into more of who I am and what I think. And no, this is not going to be some exploration of me, but possibly a way for you all to learn how fucked up my brain is. So, we're pulling out something that's a bit of an oldie, but if I recall, is quite fun. We're gonna see if I would press the button. I remember doing this a long time ago, and I haven't looked at it in a very long time, so I don't know what kind of questions we might see. However, I remember maybe about 40% of these being decent and the rest being rather boring, so we'll just see how this goes. I don't know if it'll be good or bad, so let's get into this one, which is the first one that popped up when I got in here. So, you get a free superpower of your choosing, but in return, you are to give up one of your senses. You cannot use your power to regain this sense. In case somebody doesn't know how this works, by pressing the button, you accept both things, the idea and the condition that comes with it. By not pressing it, you're saying you don't. It's a very simple concept. For this one, honestly, I think I would press it. You get a free power of your choosing, but it all depends on whether or not I get to choose the sense I'm losing. I don't think I'd like to give up. The sense I'm possibly the most willing to give up would be scent. I wouldn't want to give up sight or hearing. Ooh, but even losing scent wouldn't be that great. I'm gonna say I will press this button, but I'm apprehensive about it. Okay, it looks like the majority of people agree with me here. 69% pressed this button, and 31% did not. Well, yeah. I am going to avoid scrolling down into the comments. I know there are 319. Because I'm not sure what they're gonna say. But maybe in one of the other ones, if I really get curious, I will. I don't know. You get to work your dream job, but it pays minimum wage. Okay, honestly, does... is the minimum... The minimum wage is not a livable wage, if we're being completely real. So, but then again, I'd prefer my dream job, if I'm happy with it, over a minimum wage over not a what am I saying? I'd prefer my dream job, something I'm happy with, over something that I'd completely hate. But the it's important to make a living. Oh no. Well, it doesn't say that it pays minimum wage forever. What if that's just your starting wage? And as you get better and better, or are in it longer and longer, you get paid more, maybe? Is there a chance of promotion here? And what if your dream job's not something that pays a wage? I think I would do this. It's not specific enough to rule out the possibility of making more in the future. It's vague enough for me to read in the possibility that I can, like, make more later. So I'ma click it. Oh, damn, that's a 50-50 split. More people disagreed than agreed. What are people's logics here? My dream job is the job of my dream. Yeah, obviously. In my dream, minimum wage is... That's not how that works. My dream job is the person who comes up with the lotto numbers. So even though I get paid minimum wage, I know the lotto numbers. Huh. Okay, those are pretty nonsensical, honestly. You get $1 trillion, but you need to fake your own death. Yeah. Yeah. I get more money than I could spend in a lifetime and a new start? Shit. I don't see much of a downside here. Am I missing something? Am I missing something? I see no downside. Click. I mean, yeah. I mean, sure, yeah. If one were to have friends, it would be a little sad to lose them. And if one were to have family that they were close to, yeah. That would kind of be sad. However, this doesn't bar you from making new friends, and $1 trillion is a lot of money. Like, you and your next, like, 10 generations could live lavish lifestyles on that without ever having to work. That's an absurd quantity of money. And I could have so much fun if I didn't have to work. I mean, I'm sure having a lot of money would come with its own unique stresses, and it's not as ideal as flawless as I might initially think, but not having to stress about money would be honestly fantastic. So yes, I have no regrets clicking that button. You can play any instrument perfectly the first time you pick it up, but you will never become famous from playing... Yeah. If I could play any instrument perfectly the very first time I picked it up, without ever having to practice, that would just be awesome. I wouldn't even need to become famous, like... Yeah, that would just be really fun. I'd be able to play any song I wanted. If I just felt like making music, I could just make music. Yeah. What's with these easy buttons? I want a hard one that makes me rack my brain and work out problems. Not these super easy, obvious ones. You get straight A's in all your what tests? You are employed in McDonald's for 8 years before you can move to another job. Well, what if you don't have tests anymore? Does this, like, apply to my past tests? Also, you are employed at McDonald's, but it doesn't say what you are doing. What is your employment? Like, are you just like one of the the lowest level? Like, just got in? Or are you like a manager or something, or even higher? Do you work for corporate? Because McDonald's isn't just like the cashiers. There's a hierarchy. And there's a lot of money in there if you're high enough. So... yes. Yeah. Doesn't say what position I am. I can be the owner of McDonald's. Thank you. Thank you. You become God, but the person you love most becomes the devil. What if... so I become God. Okay. Honestly, I'd be a terrible God. You know what the world would look like if I was God? It would be on fire in seconds. Because I get curious. I like to meddle. I get curious. And I just up and decide, I wonder what would happen if, and the world would burn. This... I should not be given power. But I want it. Honestly, I don't know who the person I love most would be, so this is a toss-up. I don't know who that would be. And that is a damn near perfect 50-50 split. I'm kind of impressed. Something good happens, but something bad happens that obviously outweighs the good thing. This is so vague. So, something good happens. You find a penny on the side of the road. But a pigeon shits on you. Or you get to pet a dog. But you get murdered. This just... it's too vague to be worth it, because it doesn't say how much the bad thing outweighs the good thing, just that it obviously does. So you could just, like, have the most minor good thing happen, and then get, like, tortured to death. I don't think I'm pressing that button. Yeah, most people agree with me here. Just imagine, you just... in the morning, you wake up, and you just feel especially happy, or you feel motivated, and that's your good thing. And then as soon as you walk out the door, you get set on fire. It's way too vague to be safe pressing that button. You get to rule the world, but you'll lose 30 years of your lifetime. Okay, let's be completely honest here. If I got to rule the world, everyone would die, and everything in civilization would burn. Either that, or there'd be a coup within like a year, maybe a week. I would be dead immediately, or I would burn with society. So this would be, you lose 30 years of your lifetime. Honestly, that wouldn't change much because civilization would burn before my lifetime would end. So I'm not capable of ruling the world efficiently. So if I press isn't this isn't the actual conditions. It's you burn the world down, but it happens next week. Like, Pac is given power and the world dies in a week. This, yeah, I'm not, for the sake of the world, I will not press that button. Your favorite NHL team wins the Stanley Cup. Okay, full disclosure, I don't know what the Stanley Cup is. I'm assuming NHL is hockey? Their captain drops the cup when he lifts it. Wouldn't it, I know nothing about this, but wouldn't it be made of metal? So it would dent? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know how important the Stanley Cup is, or if this is even the National Hockey League. Unless that's all I can think of that H. That's all that I can think the H can be. So I'm not pressing it. What is can anyone tell me what the NHL is? Can someone confirm it's hockey? Yeah, I was right, it's hockey. At least I know that much. You would have minty fresh breath for the rest of your life, but you could never have coffee. No, fuck that. I am fueled by coffee. I would not survive this. No. That I would die. I would not be able to function without coffee. You hear that? That's the sound of a thermos full of coffee. It's currently 11 p.m. at night and I'm drinking coffee. I would not survive this. Receive $5 million annually, but you cannot buy anything priced over $200. Total? Or like individual? Because that prevents you from buying most things. You would be unable to purchase a house. Hotel rooms are like, I mean, you'd be living out of a hotel basically. Or, loophole, get somebody else to purchase the things for you. Hire somebody and pay them in $200 increments. And then for their services. Or pay them however much, it doesn't have to be $200, but pay them to be your purchasing person. And whenever you have to buy something that's over $200, you gift them that amount of money for them to go therefore then do their job and buy the thing in your stead. Have a friend and this works out. Actually, it doesn't even have to be a friend, just somebody willing to just be your purchasing person. Hire a shopper. Basically, a personal attendant. Yes. Loophole. But then I have to socially interact with another being. That's not... I'll do what I must. Uh, yeah. Most people agree with me here. Okay. Cool. You can go anywhere in the world free of charge and safe, but you could never return to your hometown. Hmm. But just because you're somewhere else doesn't mean you have the ability to live there. Doesn't mean you have the money to purchase a house or food. You can just go there and then you're just there. So you could travel wherever you want for free, but you'd still need to have an occupation and a source of income. Honestly, no. You have a magic bank account that has an infinite supply of duns? What's a dun? What's a dun? I'm gonna assume that's money. Just an infinite supply of money. And you can only withdraw, but you can only withdraw dollar bills at ATMs. Okay. Withdraw dollar bills and like convert them to higher bills. Go to a store and ask if you can exchange $21 bills for a $20 bill. Or just walk into the bank and ask if you can exchange. That's not technically a withdrawal, that's an exchange. Or use a debit card. You can only withdraw dollar bills at ATM. Wait, no, hold on. Strike all of that. You can only withdraw dollar bills at ATMs. But if you went to the teller, you could withdraw however much you want. Because you can only withdraw... So if you went to an ATM, you're restricted to dollar bills. But it never says that you can only withdraw money from ATMs. It only says that at ATMs you would have to withdraw dollar bills. So if I went to the teller, I could withdraw as much as I want in any bill I want. Haha. It just means I have to spend time interacting with cashiers, with the tellers. That's fine. Or I could just use a debit card and circumvent the entire withdraw process to begin with. Yes, infinite money, please. Everyone at school is friends with you, but school lasts 10 hours 6 days of the week. No. No. Moving on. You become the best criminal ever to exist in the entire history of everything. But every time you do a successful robbery, you go down to the bar and perform the entire music video of Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson. Yes. Okay, you become the best based on the butt section every time you do a successful robbery, so you become the best robber ever to exist in the history of everything. Honestly, you just need one really high value robbery. So technically, you'd only have to do this one time if you did the right heist. So you steal a boatload of money you perform the entire music video of Smooth Criminal, and in my case, I perform it horribly and traumatize everyone in the bar and potentially run that bar out of business, and receive lawsuits for mental trauma at my horrific dance skills. But I have enough money to live the rest of my life, which sounds pretty good, honestly. Yeah, I'll press that button. There's no guarantee I'll survive. My introvert self would survive doing this even once, but sure, I'll press that button. You can cure cancer, but you'll be the last person in the world to die of cancer. So, there's no such thing as a cure for cancer. So I'm assuming this is more saying you can create a perfect treatment for cancer, or a perfect method of just preventing it altogether. But for some reason, it'll be done the instant you die, or the instant you're beyond help. And then, like, as soon as you die, or as soon as I die in this case, this cloud of medication or something will be released into the atmosphere that prevents cancer for the rest of existence. When do I die of cancer? Like, right now? Do I just, like, I click the button and I get cancer? I mean, whenever you have it, it's terrible. I'm not trying to downplay cancer, obviously, because it's a horrible thing. I'd press that button. Because even though that would be a horrible way to die, and I have no desire to, obviously, I don't think anyone would be like, oh, I wish I had cancer. No. Nobody wants that, but if just me, if I had to be the last person to suffer that, to do something that would cause that to never happen again. I mean, I don't know how many people die of cancer every year, but it has to be a lot. And it's a long process. If I could be the last one who ever had to suffer that and prevent it in literally everyone else for the rest of history, the rest of humanity, I would do that. Yeah, I would do that. Man, that's that's a bit of a heavy one. That's a lot heavier than the other ones have been. Let's see if the next one's a little more happy, shall we? Oh, this is long. There is an infinite number of different worlds, all filled with magic. You become able to travel between them at will, and become the most gifted magician in any of them. You do not age unless you wish so. Dying will revive you at different worlds unless you wish to die completely. But you can only travel between worlds alone. You can't stay in any world for more than 1 month. You can't control your destination, it's chosen at random. And you can't return back to any world you've already been in. These rules can't be bypassed in any way. No, I wouldn't do that. Well, I think that would be fun for the beginning. But I think it would get really sad eventually. 1 month isn't that long. And even if you manage to make friends in like the first week of being somewhere, then in the next like 2 weeks after, you'd lose them. And since you have to travel alone, it's impossible for you to have companionship. And if you can't control your destinations and there's an infinite number of different worlds, infinity isn't a number. Technically. But if there's an infinite amount of worlds, then there's an infinite amount of good ones and an infinite amount of bad ones. If you have no control over your destination, then it's possible you'll just get plopped in hellhole like hellhole after hellhole after hellhole. I mean, it's also possible you get transported to like the world of sunshine and kittens. Or, actually that sounds like a nightmare, except for the kittens. I like the kittens. But yeah, there's a good chance you're just gonna get sent to like the land of paint chips and broken glass, where like the air is mustard gas. I don't know. These aren't Earth. They're different worlds in like different dimensions, or they're just different planets, which also means there's no guarantee it's oxygen in the air. You could just pop into another world and suffocate to death, and then get sent to the next one and suffocate to death, and then get sent to the next one and immediately fall off a cliff because or plummet to the core because this happens to be a gas giant. It doesn't have solid ground because everything here is like some hot air balloon creature, gas-filled entity that floats through the gas giant. You're not getting sent to alternate Earths. You're in different dimensions or worlds. No, I'm not doing it. I might be overthinking this, but because I'm overthinking it, it sounds terrible. What are other people's reasoning? Oh, that's actually interesting. You changed the meaning of a month to mean eternity? You're technically not bypassing it, you're just kind of changing the concept of time. Huh. That's interesting. You might be able to get away with that, I'm not sure. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. It will, but random, but I kind of just figured, like, went with it as it was written. Yeah. Next one. You can pick a card to become perfectly balanced. What are you talking about, card? This is, that doesn't make sense to me. You can make anything air on any TV channel whenever you want, even porn, but you have to live with your mother for the rest of your life. No, for reasons I'm not getting into. Also, I don't watch TV. You will become a brilliant scientist like Einstein. Known and wanted by everyone in the world? Like, wanted by? Is that like in that way? Because that sounds terrible. But you become mentally ill. Well, there's a concept called the curse of knowledge, or the curse of intelligence, or whatever, where geniuses tend to be sort of depressed. Which, no, edgy teenage high school student, you and your depression does not mean you are a genius. Let's just get that out of the way first. Not everyone who is depressed is therefore a genius. It's just that, as far as I'm aware, geniuses tend to be more inclined towards that. I don't have any facts for that. It's just something that I believe is true. I'm not certain. I might have to look that up later. But that kind of seems to come with the territory, to be honest. I wouldn't want to be wanted by everyone in the world. That seems uncomfortable. I'm gonna say no. Because I can only imagine, as like a world-renowned scientist, literally wanted by everyone in the world, you wouldn't be able to go outside without being swarmed by people. Especially this, wanted by everyone in the world. Everyone would want to, like, say hi, and just like a few people would be fine. Everyone, no. I need my alone time. You can get any Pokemon you want, but they don't listen to you. That seems problematic if you get a big one. Also, doesn't that mean there's a pretty good chance that it'll just straight up murder you? Like, oh, what's that? The first form of Scyther. Isn't Scyther the one with the claw, like the lobster claw, the crab claws? Or is that Scizor? It's Scizor? Scyther? No, it's Scyther's the first form. It's been a long time. But anyways, imagine you like got one of those, it doesn't listen to you and immediately just stabs you. Because aren't there a lot of Pokemons that just straight up murder people? So if you picked one of those and it doesn't listen to you, you just immediately get murdered. Like, you summon Darkrai and it immediately puts you in a nightmare. Yeah. You'd want at least some amount of loyalty, which it doesn't say here. And even if you might be able to gain that over time, you might die before that happens. I don't know. I will not. Plus, I'm not too into Pokemon. If we're being completely real, I got really bored of Pokemon. I can't. It's so repetitive. It's the same thing over and over. I think the last one I played was White? Pokemon White? That's the last one I played, but once I realized that it was like the same thing over and over, I got really bored. And also the designs were kind of going downhill. They're not as good as they used to be. That might be a hot take. I don't know. Let's do maybe one or two more. You go back to your childhood with present mind and fix all your mistakes. That's a lot of mistakes. And go to school with your current knowledge, but you tremendously change your personal future no matter what. I mean, yeah, that kind of comes with the territory, doesn't it? You go back to your childhood with present mind and fix all your mistakes and go to school with current knowledge. Yeah, you would change a lot of things, especially if you're fixing all your mistakes. Your future would be very different. That kind of just comes with the territory. My instinct was to press the button, but when I think about it... You know what, I was about to go on this whole thing about, like, my personal choices have made me who I am, but... Man, I've made a lot of mistakes that I wish I could change. Yeah, I'm clicking that button. Yeah, as much as I'd like to be, oh, my mistakes have made me who I am and I wouldn't change a thing, and there's a lot of things I would change. You can stop time when you want to, but people will know what you did after you start time again. Okay, so you're just freezing them in place. They can still see what you're doing. I don't see a problem with that. That would cause a lot of mental problems. No. Okay, so let's say you stop time for like days. Days upon days. Everyone in the world is stuck, unable to move, but still able to perceive. They're not like, if they're in the sun, they're not like getting sunburned or anything because everything's frozen for them. And like, I assume for like non-living things too. So, everything is frozen except you. But they can still perceive. That sounds like a nightmare scenario, honestly. That would be horrifying. Yeah. God, that would like... people would go nuts. And as much as I think that would be hilarious, to a certain extent, I'm not gonna make... I wouldn't make people go through that. Everything you eat will be teleported inside a random person, but you poop for you both. Wouldn't you starve to death? Because they're getting the food, and you are dropping twice the deuces. Yeah, no, you'd starve to death. Also, isn't this like the third one I've done after I said I would do one or two more? Let's do one more. But yeah, no, you'd starve to death here. You lead an army of jungle animals that can never be defeated. But your empire is located in the Amazon jungle and will never expand farther than jungle. Okay. Yeah. The jungle's pretty big. I mean, it's shrinking, but you could stop deforestation with your army of jungle creatures. Yeah. And they can't be defeated for some reason. So you could prevent the rainforest from being deforested. Oh. It's a lot smaller than it used to be, but theoretically, if you prevented the trees from being cut down, and allowed more trees to grow, the jungle can get bigger again. And as long as the jungle's bigger, the bigger your empire is. And you can defend the newly growing trees. I mean, you might not live long enough to see them grow because trees take a long time to grow. But yeah. And it doesn't mean you can't leave the jungle. You just own that. You could like task your creatures with like defending it and then you can just go do whatever. Yeah, I'd press that button. I kind of want to stop on a fun one, but damn, it's already been 43 minutes of this recording. I honestly can't believe it. So, yeah, I'm gonna stop here before this goes on way too long. Yeah. So yeah, this is the first time I've done literally anything like this, and definitely, by far, the longest thing I've done here. I understand that that might have been slightly boring for most people, but I hope that maybe you learned a little bit more about how I think. I was hoping for a bit more of like deeper thought things on here, but overall, it was pretty good. Now, keep an eye out because I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, but there's a possibility that my next thing that I record will be just me finding and reading fan fictions, because I think those are so hilarious. And like, honestly, the cringier the better. I consider myself... I don't just consider myself, nothing really disturbs me anymore. I've been on the internet for a long time. I've seen so much cursed stuff. And I think it would just be really fun to read cursed fanfictions. Which will definitely, if I go too far, will definitely get age restricted. But we'll see. And that's most likely what's next, but who knows? If I figure out how to make my recording with the model not move at 5 frames a second, I might record a game. Like Minecraft or something, I don't know. But most likely the fanfictions. Let's get real cringe up here. So, anyways, I don't have an outro, and you might have noticed I don't have an intro either. So... bye.